we've got a real treat because I happen to be with my dear friend Sally, who happens to be Dr. Sally Bell. And we've just been chatting about the coronavirus and what it's making us feel, and I've been telling her how I'm feeling. And we just thought, actually, let's just capture a few of her thoughts around this because she's wise, she knows what she's talking about, and I think she'll give us some reassurance around the whole topic. So I don't know whether you're anything like me, but I've been feeling a little bit anxious about it actually. And I'm not over here in the anxious stakes as a person, but I've been feeling concerned about what I can do to protect my family, particularly my elderly mum. We're going on holiday at Easter to Iceland. I really want to go on a selfish level. And I just want to know that I'm doing what I need to. So the more I start to see people panic buying or flocking to the stores to get antibac, it starts to make me want to do that even more, even though I wasn't doing that already. So I think Sally will bring that sense of calm and peace and actual facts. I think one thing I've realised is that when something comes up that we're not in control of, we want to bring control, and that's why we start to behave like this. And I think one of the best ways to bring some control is actually to have some real wisdom and knowledge on the subject. So Sally, can you tell us a little bit about how you're feeling about the coronavirus?
Yeah, I think first of all, like, we're learning every day. It's a new thing, and so the science is kind of growing and evolving, and so we're keeping an eye on that and learning to interpret that. At the weekend, I work for the out of hours GP service, so very much involved in talking to the general public about their concerns about the coronavirus. And I do feel that it has sort of been whipped up to the point where it's just creating a lot of unnecessary anxiety. Yeah. And so it would be lovely to kind of, through talking, just give people some real practical things that they can do to kind of boost their own immunity and their own ability to combat any virus. Yeah. I think we need to just put it in the context of it's not dissimilar to the flu virus in terms of what we understand so far. And the flu virus kills anything sort of between 9,000 and 13,000 people in the UK every year. Right. We need to remember that. And this doesn't look dissimilar in terms of how many people it's killing. Unfortunately, it does look like it's targeting the elderly, like the flu virus does, or those with pre-existing diseases, like your heart disease and your asthma. And so those are the more vulnerable people groups. So for us, you with your healthy boys and me with my healthy teenage girls, like we might get it, but it's very unlikely to be fatal. It might make us poorly. And it's not dissimilar to the flu virus in terms of those symptoms. And so, as you know, I talk a lot about my 5 foundations to health.
So tell us about that. So Sally's got these 5 foundations that underpin everything Sally talks about. Health is not just about one aspect of our life, it's all of them. Yeah. So how do your 5 foundations fit with how we respond to this virus?
Yeah. So I talk about the 5 foundations that underpin health being our sleep, movement, rest, nutrition and connection. So connection with ourselves, with others and with purpose. And we know, in terms of that wider context, not just talking about viral infections, that all of those foundations impact our body's ability to be well and to be healthy. And that when we get out of whack with those foundations, that makes us more prone to sort of all chronic diseases. And so when we're looking at sort of fighting infection and fighting disease, whether that's your cancer or your viruses, you can come back to think, well, how can I strengthen those foundations? And so if we were to look particularly at sleep, we know that, as a nation, we're sleeping 25% less than we were sort of 50 years ago. And that's having a massive impact on our body's ability to fight infection.
So getting good rest is important.
So good sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
so,
sleep.
And in terms of how much is enough, ideally it's sort of between 7.5, 9 hours. But it really is, do you wake up feeling restored?
Yeah.
Do you need your alarm to wake you up? Do you need a cup of coffee to wake you up?
Yeah.
And if you do, you're probably not getting enough sleep.
Okay.
So one of the simplest and most powerful things you could do in terms of really boosting your ability to fight infection is prioritise sleep. And if people struggle to sleep, like they're making the time but they can't get to sleep, there's a great resource on my website under the resources, and it's a cheat sheet on sleep hygiene, so you could have a look at that and work at your sleep. We know that when we are stressed, that reduces our immunity and makes us prone to a whole host of infections.
So the more anxious people are getting is actually not helping them because the stress doesn't help us fight the virus.
No.
Okay.
So now stress isn't a bad thing in itself, but it's a cycle and it needs to be closed. So just because you think, oh, I've got stress and I'm stressed because I've lowered my immunity, so I'm even more stressed. It's fine, to have a stress response to something, that's normal, but then it's bringing that down and learning to close that. And so yes, aggressively kind of managing our stress is one of the best things we can do for our immunity. And actually, like, stress is like an epidemic, a worldwide epidemic that is driving and causing a whole host of disease. So a couple of simple things before we're reaching for the anti-bac and your supplements, is like, just prioritize sleep, really work on your stress, and you're going to be boosting your immunity and that ability to fight infection. And then we know that moving and being active also boosts our immunity. So just getting out for some fresh air and walking and doing some of the things that we love doing that's active will help us. We know that social isolation, so loneliness, really drives disease and is very inflammatory and really suppresses our ability to fight infection. So actually, although there's this idea to kind of to self-isolate if you are exposed, I think you've still got the phone, you still can be chatting, you can still be engaging in community, and that's really important.
So I wonder whether people who struggle with connection anyway, perhaps for all sorts of mental health reasons, this could push them even more into a place of isolation. So it's important that we recognise that actually that's an important part of our health, to stay connected.
Absolutely vital. Like, social isolation really drives disease, like way more than we understand and think. And actually how sort of touch and conversation and a hug and being part of a walking group or whatever is incredibly healing. And we now understand the mechanisms. It's not just fluffy science, it's rooted and grounded in what's going on in your body. And then the big piece is the nutrition piece. And so certainly having a plant slant to your diet. So I wouldn't necessarily advocate totally plant-based diet, but plant slant's really important. Because we know that provides us with the nutrients and the vitamins and the vitamin C that really helps us fight infection.
So what's some good, tell me a couple of things that we can get that would be good to be eating at the moment.
It's so literally, so whole foods, going to your local fruit and veg stall and just literally having plenty of fruit and vegetables and fresh vegetables is one of the best things that you can do.
Lots of different colour.
I talk about eating the rainbow because your gut bacteria, which is a whole other thing that we could talk about another time. But they love to eat a whole range of things, and our gut bacteria fight our infection, keep us cancer free and all sorts. They're an incredible resource, and so we just need to feed them, and then they do the job. So eating that rainbow, eating lots of colour. And one of the things that's important is like vitamin C, which we don't store in our body, and we have to get from our fruit and veg every day. And so that might be the one thing where I would supplement. Like if I feel like I've got a cold coming on, I would take a supplement of vitamin C as well as eating my rainbow.
To boost it.
Yeah, and you can do that where every couple of hours you take about 500 milligrams of vitamin C, and you have to be careful. It can give you diarrhea if you take too much.
Okay.
But
you don't want that, especially if there's not enough toilet roll to go around.
No, we really don't want that. But that might be something that you want to do. But honestly, like a whole food diet is just going to be, so when I say whole food, just getting the processed stuff, getting all the sugary stuff out, just being really sensible about lots of fruit and veg. It's one of the best things we can do for boosting immunity.
Lastly, we've got 6 kids between us, 3 boys, 3 girls, all growing up at ages, sort of, finishing out primary and well into secondary. What are you saying to them about contact? What are you saying to them about hand washing? So I've really talked to my boys about hand washing and encouraging them to, when they come home from the end of the day, first thing, wash their hands. When they go to school on the bus, the older ones, so when they've got off the bus, I'm telling them to wash their hands. quite frankly, I'm hoping that it might develop a better habit that goes forward into life. My youngest is really washing his hands more than he ever did. So that's not a bad thing, as long as it doesn't become a neurotic hand washing. So what do you think? What are you saying to your girls? Are you talking about hand washing?
No, but I think I'm going to now I've talked to you. I tried to get one of mine just to have a bath once a week.
Yes.
Last night we had like full on tantrums trying to get her in the shower, but
we have definitely got more clean hands in our home than
that's
we had
good
before.
Because that is one of the public health messages. Is
that's a good message.
We spread these viruses through coughing and our saliva, and then we're touching each other, and we're touching our mouths, and that's how it spreads, like this coughing and this passing on. So it's a sensible thing to be doing.
Okay, so we're on board with hand washing. But in terms of like bringing people's anxiety levels down, do you think this just having more information helps, or do you think it's about recognising that not everything's within our control? What do you think can help bring the anxiety back to a reasonable place? Or do you think it just will as we head over a bit of a curve?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, it's an unknown, isn't it? And I think in all of us, like, we don't like it when it's unknown, and it is a new thing. And there's a part of we've just got to walk out and see what the story plays out. But at the moment, in terms of what we understand so far, it's not as virulent, so it's not as aggressive as something like Ebola, or we're not dealing with that kind of thing. It's not targeting people who are sort of fit and healthy, which is always a worry. I mean, it's horrible if you are elderly, but I think, like, with if you are elderly, then just going back to, okay, let me prioritise sleep. Let's do some things that don't stress me. Let's make sure I'm eating a healthy diet. Make sure I'm getting my vitamin C, and making sure I'm talking to my family once a day. I mean, these things are going to boost your immunity, and so those things you can do. I think when people get an idea of, I can do this, then it gives them a sense of power over control over their health, and I think that helps.
And this is about long-term health, isn't it? It's not just about, right, we need to do this so we don't get the coronavirus, but actually this would help us with seasonal flu, with everything that we're doing.
It really is. I mean, I think about 90% of all modern day diseases are due to lifestyle.
Wow.
So the solution is found in how we live. It's not in a drug or a drug company. It's these things.
Those things are in our control.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are.
That's amazing.
Great.
Thank you.
I hope that's helped.
It's massively helped me. So I'm going to try and summarise, because it helps me to have some simple action, and I'm not the professional. I'm the regular mom trying to work this out. So first of all, I've got to rest well. I've got to think about my sleep and my children's sleep, that we're fighting fit because we sleep well. We're going to think about reducing our stress, doing things that de-stress us, like getting information that makes us feel more at peace. We've got to think about movement, and that we're exercising. Walk your dog, go for a run,
walk to the
shop,
shop,
jump, skip, whatever helps you. Go to the shop, go to the gym. Get connection, make sure there's people that you're connected to, whether that's on the phone. Phone up those people in your life maybe that might be feeling a bit isolated at the moment. Call Nanny and Grandad. And then the last one was nutrition, the big piece, thinking about how we're eating and what we're filling our bodies with, stocking up on vitamin C, a whole range of fruit and vegetables, and all that stuff that helps us from inside fight what's external, that's outside of our control.
Brilliant.
I hope that's really helped you, like it has me. Don't worry about the stockpiling. Let's just get our health and well-being in a good place, and I hope you have a really good week.
Da-da. Oh, I forgot my little knob. We've cut that bit off.
Because it's gone.
30 minutes.
Too long?
No.